Fun fact, this used to be Mtashed's channel trailer back in the day. This was the original. Hey everyone, Mtashed here, and this is my new gaming channel, so buckle up and check it out. All right, gamers, it is time for the RGH podcast. Feeling good, feeling great. I feel like there's actually a lot of news, like actual gaming news. Like, we've been doing a lot of Twitch drama and stuff, but there are a bunch of new games coming out. We heard some, almost, I guess, new IP stuff coming out. I'm really excited about this episode. I'm Mtashed. We've got KackisHD. We got True Vanguard here. And this is the RGH Real Gamer Hour podcast. We do it every single Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
I'm gonna interrupt you real quick there.
Yo.
Rick Kackis isn't here. Yo, my boys. This is Rick Drippus. You know what I'm saying? Because I got the drip. We got the Versace robe coming in.
Guys.
And we cool. We chilling. We good because this is our 20th episode. So we gotta live it big. We gotta live it large, boys. So we're just getting started, baby. Episode 20.
On that note, it's over. Have a great day, everybody.
I gotta let the members know where all their member money is going
That's
to.
right. That's right. I haven't seen a dime.
Yeah, where's my robe? Where's my robe? I haven't gotten anything.
I told you guys we're still having
I really
issues
thought
with the
you were
PayPal.
gonna-
It's weird. It's super weird.
I really thought, Mike, with our birthdays being on the same week, I thought you and I were both gonna get a robe from Kackis for our birthdays.
I know.
Honestly, True Vanguard,
I got nothing from him.
Honestly,
your gift
dude,
was great. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
TV, you were so drunk. I was honestly banking on the fact that you just forget about your birthday and then I would be off the hook.
Oh my god.
All right.
I didn't even drink on my birthday.
So today we got some pretty good topics. We got Riot Games and Bungie suing different cheat creators or developers. Bethesda announces an Indiana Jones game. Honestly, I think that's one of my most excited things. And then we've got an open world Star Wars game being developed by Ubisoft Massive, which is pretty massive, right? And then there was a Grand Theft Auto announcement. They're talking about the game a little bit, but they're talking that it might be the first game, or it is the first game, with a female protagonist, which is pretty cool. And then Cyberpunk comes out and makes an apology? I guess you could say that. Essentially, they just blamed their own QA team and was like, yeah, these guys sucked. These guys sucked. They missed everything.
We'll get there.
We'll get into it. We're going to start at the top because... this one is really interesting, and I've got some little tidbits I want to share once we get into it. But Riot and Bungie team up to sue cheat makers. Now, we know that they did a cease and desist to Perfect Aim. That was a website that was kind of plaguing Destiny. But now, apparently, there's been a multitude of others, like, I think it's like Gator Gaming and
Gator Cheats is the big one that got... Gator Cheats got absolutely shut down, baby. And this is an interesting thing. So the really interesting part is that game developers have sent cease and desists. Oh, what's up? Sorry, guys. I got a very important beer delivery.
She didn't show her hair. She got pink hair.
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna
no,
step
you're
on
not
screen.
even gonna show your hair? No, she says no.
I've got a Smirnoff with raspberry.
Oh, how does it feel knowing that your drink of choice is the same color as Kackis's wife's hair?
Come on, man. Why are we being colorist here? What the heck?
All right.
Anyways,
back to the explanation. The important thing is that there's been a lot of cease and desists, and that actually happened to Gator Cheat before. They sent a cease and desist, which is basically a legal order saying stop. But Gator Cheats, when they got this, they actually came out and said, hey, we are going to not sell new cheats, but we're going to continually support people who are already had our cheats, which is obviously is still a big problem. Now, they actually apparently in this lawsuit, they had evidence that Gator Cheats was still selling like on the sly under the table, right? So they were essentially like must have had someone like buy a Gator cheat, right? And that obviously violates the cease and desist. So that's a huge issue. And also this time around, they didn't just offer another cease and desist. They wanted to go all the way to court. They wanted like all of Gator Cheats' money. They wanted to completely cease, not just making new cheats and selling new cheats, but take it off for people who already had cheats. Like basically take it away from the people who had it. They wanted. Here's where it gets juicy and interesting. They wanted sales info. So the people who they sold it to, they wanted that info. They wanted to know who has these cheats.
Right.
And they wanted those cheats sent to them so that Bungie and Riot, because they teamed up with Riot Games, would have these cheats to see how they circumnavigated their anti-cheats so they can improve them in the future. This was huge.
That's
this
amazing.
Is like Thanos getting all the stones together and doing the snap. Like this is like Riot Games. If you're not familiar with Riot, these guys developed to support Valorant, right? And Valorant came out the gate with a very strong stance against cheaters immediately. And I think it's really cool to see them team up together, pool resources and information, and take these cheats down. Now, one interesting thing, by the way, somebody was like, "Huh." I saw this posted on Twitter. Perfect Aim, when they took their stuff down, had tweeted out like, we're really sorry that our stuff's being taken down. You can't use our services anymore. We recommend that if you want to continue to cheat in Destiny, you check out these places.
And I'll share it.
They named them, and so Bungie's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, thanks for the heads up."
That's so funny. There's like another one. I hope they go after the other one too. That like Perfect Aim unknowingly like sewered these other cheat makers. That's hilarious, dude.
Let's see if I can find that.
This is so great, honestly. Like we're at this point where the integrity of games is so compromised by these systems. And really, it's so hard to go after the individual gamers because, thousands and thousands, not tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people out there utilizing these cheats across multiple different games. So to be able to target the big guys and to really just make an example of them and say, nah, we're taking you to court, we'll sue the pants off of you. And if anybody else wants to try and do the same, we're just going to point to you and be like, this is what could happen to you. I think that fantastic.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, these guys have essentially like reverse engineered so that they can do this cheating. And so if I would think that in the terms of service, if Bungie is requesting that and they are taking them to court, like they would get it. I think they would win 100%. Like obviously they can cease and desist, they can get them shut down. But I think the fact that they are altering the code or they're altering the game or they're circumventing the systems in the game, like I think that is a breach of terms of service. So I think there's a good chance they would have to they'd have to fork that over. And then if they have that and they have that information, it's just, I don't know, 5 times easier to defend against it because they know how they're breaking in, how they're beating these systems, and how they're going, undetected for the most part.
It's absolutely. In fact, in the service like user agreement, or servants license agreement or whatever for Destiny, they actually have a part that says you're not allowed to use boosting services. And these cheats are often used for boosting services, right? Like boosting a character by cheating through trials and getting gear, right? Or getting to a level or beating an activity that you weren't supposed to beat if you weren't cheating, right? So it's pretty clearly. And I know another interesting thing is like, obviously, I said this in my video on this. It's like the legal power, the lawyers, and the expertise and the resources that Bungie and Riot can bring to bear are better than whatever like lawyer that Gator Cheats has got to call up. Like, hey, you see like those like on a billboard, like, hey,
is this the hammer?
Yo, I mean, Gator Cheats is like some guy who lives in Louisiana, like in the bayou, and he's like, I know you're an injury lawyer, but I need you to defend me.
I'm not getting injured here.
Like, were you not in a motorcycle accident? That I can't help you, man.
Exactly. And So interestingly, Gator Cheats had a Twitter account, and it's already been updated that they're shutting down due to this lawsuit. So did it move that fast? Like maybe it avoided court altogether. They just were like completely agreed to give them all the terms to avoid paying excess fees. But yeah, wild.
The thing
wild
is,
stuff.
the thing is that Ring 1, like that Ring 1 works on tons of games apparently. Like you could, I think you could use it on like a ton of the big AAA games and like PUBG and stuff. I don't know if all features work on all games, but Ring 1 was not just Destiny. And so if they're going after them, like that is a big thing just for gaming as a whole, because cheating has been a problem. I mean, in Destiny, it's like, yeah, it's really annoying, but it's not just happening in Destiny, and it ruins every game that it plagues. So if they can get rid of some of the biggest ones, like Ring 1 is probably in the top couple. Perfect Aim was small. It was just popular in Destiny. Ring 1 is probably a bigger, more popular one because it flooded other games. So that's huge. Good. This is a step for gaming.
I think there's a chance that you might see some other adverse effects if these sites, these services providing cheats for people get tanked. You might see the price of recoveries go up as fewer people are able to successfully do recoveries on these games.
That's true. That is true.
Who knows?
I wonder.
I think that would be a minor side effect compared to like overall getting rid of cheaters.
I say screw recoveries.
No, but
I'm
I mean,
fine
like,
with that.
it's obviously a good thing that they're going
Yeah.
after and getting rid of cheaters, because they just plague whatever game they're in.
Well, and now instead of every person you playing being a 1% player because they're either the best players or they're cheating, now there might be some actual normal people. You're not just going against Frostbolt 24/7 murdering you.
Work now,
Yeah.
Because and that's the thing, is even with lobby balancing, all those different things, like people are cheating in quick play, and so it looks at their kill death ratio.
People are cheating. I got killed by a cheater in the Gambit, and it's like, Gambit, dude,
right?
Gambit,
and the game is looking at their 1.0 kill death. It's like, all right, here we go, we're gonna put him here. But then that was before they downloaded the cheats, and then they're just like destroying all these lobbies. And anyways, I think that's pretty much it for that. I'm excited for it. I'm hoping for
it's, and hopefully it sets a precedent in the future, and hopefully more developers like team up like this. They say, hey, you guys are being affected by this cheat, so are we. Let's freaking get our lawyers together and have a big lawsuit.
Yeah, exactly. They've got the resources.
Our powers combined.
Now, speaking of big game studios, Bethesda drops, I don't know if it's a teaser, not a full trailer, but like a teaser, I guess.
Definitely a teaser, yeah.
For a new Indiana Jones game. Now, that is an IP. When is the last Indiana Jones game?
We never saw that coming. That was out of the blue.
Yeah. When's the last time? SNES? Indiana Jones on the SNES? I mean, there's a couple, but like there hasn't been a AAA Indiana Jones game that I know of for a long time. And I mean, I think that's a pretty cool series overall, like pretty beloved, and I feel like you could do a lot with it. Traps, exploring, puzzles, fighting. I look at the Tomb Raider games.
Be sort of like Uncharted, Tomb Raider kind of a style,
Yeah, I mean, great games.
Interestingly, Bethesda's doing it, right? So I think it could very well be like an open world type game.
Where you're going to like different tombs and stuff?
I mean, yeah, in Skyrim, you're already going into tombs with traps and they like shoot arrows and stuff.
Yeah,
like imagine really getting rid of the Skyrim stuff and just really going hard into the traps and the dungeons and stuff. Mm-hmm. And like you find different artifacts and you can upgrade your gear, get different pistols or whatever. And like, it's probably gonna be like upgrade your whip to a different type of leather so it does more whip damage or some that type video game stuff. But it's interesting. But let me ask you guys, Indiana Jones, obviously to us and to a lot of people, is a huge franchise. Mm-hmm. But there hasn't been an Indiana Jones movie since the one with Shia LaBeouf,
Crystal
Skull,
that
was not critically reviewed favorably, let's just say.
Right.
So they
may have a hard time reaching the younger audience.
Yeah, the people on TikTok making unbelievably videos have not seen an Indiana Jones potentially, because obviously their parents aren't doing a good enough job. But you know what I mean? Like, it is a legitimate question.
It's an interesting move. I agree.
Yeah, Indiana Jones has not been in the zeitgeist, the most recent zeitgeist, in quite a while.
But also on the flip side of that, are they banking on, like, Bethesda fans are a little bit generally more adult gamers.
At this
Because the
point,
types
yeah.
of games that they make and are known for are rated M and above, right? Well, rated M for mature. So they're already targeting an older audience as it is. So people who know Bethesda and trust them. Oh, by the way, I should mention that Bethesda did already publicly confirm this is a separate team than the team that's working on Elder Scrolls 6. So this game and its development has no impact on the scheduling for
Yeah, someone said apparently
six.
it's like the dev team who did Wolfenstein that might be doing this.
Okay. I mean,
But again, it's like Bethesda's so big that they can draw resources from the people who did Skyrim, the people who did Fallout. Well, hopefully not the new Fallout, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Bethesda, I'm willing to give anything Bethesda does a shot because I mean every game developer I think has duds, and Bethesda has had their fair share of duds, even in the recent past. But the games that they make that are bangers are frickin' bangers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I
they've
mean,
earned enough good faith with me that I'll check it out. I'll
Yeah,
see what
but
that's about.
that good faith is from like 10 years ago now. Right? Like
that's fair.
the last couple, like Fallout 4 was kind of like meh. And then
But, like-
Fallout 76 was a disaster.
But
an
like,
utter disaster.
was Fallout 4 meh because Fallout 3 was so masterpiece good? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's
no, that's a good
so
point.
good. It's so good, and
And
the
New Vegas was
New
phenomenal,
Vegas,
too, so-
exactly.
But New Vegas
He-
was Obsidian Studio.
It was
not,
Obsidian. It was Obsidian, but it's the same name, so people have expectation. That's all I'm
Yes.
saying. Like, even though
But
it's
Fallout
different
76 like was so bad. Like it failed spectacularly. I mean, have you seen the Internet Historians video on like just all the stuff and like they made like a rum and they designed the bottle so crappily that it was like pouring out everything they did was a disaster on every level. Like it could not have been worse. Like it should like if it wasn't I don't know, if it wasn't as hyped, it would have been like Cyberpunk on a whole new level. Like everything they did involving that game was a disaster. And so you have something like that spectacular as a fail. I think it does impact a little bit. I 100% agree that Bethesda has released some world-defining bangers, but their last game was trash. Like really bad trash and got roasted for it.
yeah.
It
That's
did
true.
lead to some good meme.
Yeah,
meme
content off the charts, dude.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you
Another
what.
settlement needs your help.
The second they put out a trailer for Elder Scrolls 6, no one's gonna give a shit.
I'm all
no
in.
one is gonna care. They're gonna watch it and they're gonna go, all right, I'm back in. Like even Skyrim. Skyrim was buggy, but there were so many mods. And here's the thing, and this is the way I view it, is like even if it isn't great right at launch, the modding communities for that game are so insane that if you give it a month, they'll fix it. Like, literally, the devs don't even have to do it. The modders will be like, oh, okay, we'll make the inventory better. We'll make the lighting better. Like, they will fix it in a week, 2 weeks. Yeah. They're like, yeah, we fixed the game already. And so, at least with a game like that, it's almost like they're creating, maybe not like Roblox, but they're creating the platform and they're creating the sandbox, and then everyone else just makes the goddamn game. Like, here, we'll give you the assets. You make Skyrim. You make Elder Scrolls 6. Like, figure it out.
How many times are they going to sell us Elder Scrolls 6? Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah. I mean, this time it's on fridges. It's on everything.
I always laugh at the freaking it wasn't the CEO. I think it was the general manager. I don't know. There was a tweet. One of those guys who was like responding to all the criticism. People were like, "Stop making us buy Skyrim," and he just tweeted out like, "Hey, if you guys want us to stop selling you Skyrim, stop buying Skyrim." Because every time you guys eat it up. Like, what do you want us to do?
That's true. You know, really quickly before we move on from Indiana Jones, though, another game that's kind of like a bit of an older brand that I'm really excited for. Did you guys see the trailer for that, or I guess the teaser for the new 007 game, the new James Bond game?
I didn't see the teaser.
I saw someone
tweet about it.
It's getting made by the people that made the recent Hitman games. So is that Warner Bros? But it looked pretty cool. But like I was looking at the last Hitman game, there was some really cool stuff in that Hitman game, and you could do each mission like 10 different ways. And if they added some of that dynamics, is like, I'm James Bond, I'm going onto the map, and I'm going to complete this mission. But you could do it like 5 or 6 different ways. I would love that.
Well, it's James Bond,
right?
so you go,
right?
it's James Bond, so you go into the ballroom and seduce the woman, and then and then you have a
Yeah.
love story, and then you go back and maybe you'll do the mission if
That's
you
right,
feel
that's
like
right.
it.
Right. But I remember, I don't know if you guys played Nightfire, or was it Nightfire? 007
I
Nightfire.
don't remember that.
I think it was, I mean, I played it on the GameCube, but in that one, there were quite a few missions where, like, there was the one where you could take the bridge up top on, like, one of the first levels, or you could go underneath and grappling hook up, and it gave you a couple little choices, and you could go
Sure.
through this one window or go through the ballroom kind of thing. And those little choices, it made me love that game. Like, I think that was one of my favorite James Bonds, and knowing that the people that are making Hitman are doing this one, it has some major potential. Really good
Right.
replayability, even, because I can imagine, you know, story games like that are a little low. But also, like, I
In
don't
the
know.
teaser,
it
did they
just-
show what character model for James Bond they're using?
I don't think
I'm
so.
assuming it's not
I'm
Pierce
sure you-
Brosnan. is
I
it?
I
sure
think
you
it was
can,
just like
like,
a
buy different
bullet.
ones.
It was just like a bullet going through down the barrel. Like, I don't think it
Okay.
was
That's
because
the question. Is it gonna be Daniel Craig? Is it gonna be?
I'm sure you're gonna be able to like pick which one, or like DLC unlock the good ones, and you start with like,
That's right.
you start with whatever one no one cares about.
well,
Yeah.
you
And then
start you start with Mr. Bean, like,
yeah, exactly, from Johnny English.
and he's got a
Yeah.
Then you have to
banana.
pay. Then you have to microtransaction to be Sean Connery or Roger
Sean
Moore.
Connery. Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
that'd be great.
All right, so moving on from Indiana Jones, we also got news that EA has essentially lost its exclusivity deal with Star Wars. Now, they also tweeted literally a couple hours later saying, hey, we actually still have some Star Wars stuff that we're working on, but Ubisoft slash Massive, or Ubisoft Massive, is working on apparently an open world Star Wars game. They're hiring people right now. One of the leads on Division, I believe 1 and 2, is working on this game. And I don't know if this is going to be like a looting type game or just an open world type game, kind of like a, I don't know, Far Cry type game. Like, I don't know.
They said open world story driven.
Right.
Is what they said.
So it's tough to say exactly what it's going to be, but that team, I think, has some amazing talent, and working with the Star Wars IP, I think, is always going to get people excited. And we haven't seen something like this in a long time. We always get Star Wars Battlefront or spaceship flying. We haven't got any really great exploration games like this. The recent Star Wars game, Fallen Jedi, pretty awesome. But this
Jedi Fallen Order,
or whatever, Fallen Order, yeah. But this might be a very big departure even from that. So I'm really pumped up to see what we get.
Absolutely. You know, historically, the Star Wars, Lucasfilm, the people they've partnered with in the past have come up with some really incredible games, especially if we go back 10 plus years. We see Knights of the Old Republic and things like that, things that had a whole lot of charm. And I'm excited to see what some of these other, because honestly, right now, the market for Star Wars is banging. Everyone is into Star Wars. Lucasfilm coupling with Disney, they are just releasing new content, you know, and people are eating it up. So I think the demand is there for gamers who are like, I want to get into that Star Wars world, you know what I'm saying? And EA not really giving us the best. I mean, the Rogue Squadron game, pretty freaking good, but the recent 2 Battlefront games were not that great.
Yeah,
So,
so importantly, like, yeah, Star Wars, EA did lose their deal because the original deal was an exclusivity deal, like similar to how EA is the only people that can make NFL games. It's just EA. You can make football games, but it can't be NFL games. So now the fact that that deal is over, and it kind of opens like you said, it opens the floodgates. There's a whole bunch of talented studios out there, and now that they're licensing out Star Wars, that IP, to whoever wants it, is extremely important. And here's the thing: you said, Tash, you're like, you know, good developers. You'd think, dude. I went and I looked in the comments of, like, on Reddit, they announced this story, and like it's like, oh, the people who made the Division, should I be concerned? Top voted comment was like, you should be super concerned, dude. Like, Division 1 was absolute garbage until they left to make Division 2, and they brought a different studio that fixed it, and Division 2 is like, and I'm like, and it's like, so a lot of people do think that a lot of people did not like the Divisions. I think that both of the Divisions had incredible potential, were very fun, and then kind of had some issues. And Division 2 right now is at a pretty good state. Like, it has a lot of freaking content. If you go and buy Division 2 right now, you're going to have like an endless amount of content. Some of that content may be a little grindy and boring, But like the raids are pretty interesting. Like there's actually really good content to be had, and I think, like you said, finally having something a little bit different. You know what this reminds me of? Do you guys remember Star Wars 1313? It was like a little trailer way back in the day, and it was kind of along these lines. I think it was like 1313. It was like the 1313th level of a Coruscant, and it was like this crazy. This kind of sounds like that, where it could just be like third person open world game where it's actual like loot. You're like, you get your different stormtrooper outfits or get whatever, and you go and get these different blasters and stuff. I feel like
You get to
having
go bounty hunting, go to this
RPG
yeah.
aspects in the Star Wars would be amazing. Dude.
Are they gonna make a Mandalorian game where you're like doing bounties?
Could be,
but I think it's a matter of time. To be honest,
it's so popular.
Is it multiplayer? Like imagine like the Dark Zone, Division Dark Zone, but with all Star Wars characters. It's just like the lawless Tatooine, like desert, and it's just everyone's like going and bounty hunting each other.
I mean, it'd be great. It could be so good,
really good.
One of the things that's great about this that I think goes a little under the radar is that a lot of the work's already done for you. So a lot of these, you think about like the Division, they got to come up. Okay, where are we gonna do this? What's the story? Who are the characters? But what does our audience even want? We only have Division 1 and some of the feedback from there to go off of. But with Star Wars, I mean, it's solidified. The planets, the systems, the architecture, the whole vibe, the feel of all these different places, the characters, the overarching narrative that's being told, that's all there already, right? You don't have to design what a spaceship looks like. An X-wing is an X-wing. It depends. And Star Wars fans are extremely vocal, and they know what they want. And Lucasfilm has shown us we know what our fans want. They have done so much fan service in the past, honestly, the past like year and a half, 2 years. We saw that a ton with The Mandalorian. Okay, they're finally starting to say, okay, let's get away from all this big cinema stuff. What do our fans really want? And so
we messed up with the sequels. They were trash. Let's get The Mandalorian. People actually like that. Let's lean into that. Mm-hmm. Actual storytelling from people who actually like the damn franchise. That's right.
I really hope they go into like Rebels and Clone Wars for inspiration, because the narrative there is just so deep.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like you said, EA screwed up Battlefront 1 and 2 royally. 1, beautiful game, not enough content. 2, caused like an international incident on loot boxes.
That's right.
Like literally an internet. They had to have gambling laws redone because of this game. Like it could not have gone worse, right? The PR was a disaster, and I'm sure Disney was not happy about that, right? So again, the fact that now you have these other studios that are being involved, Ubisoft is a big player, and they make some great games, but they also make some duds like Watch Dogs Legion. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it, but I'm hoping that they expand this license to even more developers. I like imagine even an EA being able, just other studios that are specialized in certain things being able to have the Star Wars license, I think is a really good thing.
The other thing too is you could do like so many different games with it. Like you could do a Jedi game, or you could just not. You could do a Stormtrooper type game, or like a rogue Stormtrooper, or like After the Empire Falls. Like there's so many different ways you can make a game, and Star Wars fans are still gonna like it. You could be Han Solo in a game, and it's like, all right, I like it. Mandalorian, I like it. Yeah. Like there's so many different avenues here, and that's the thing that I'm interested. When they say open world Star Wars game, I don't know what that is. Does that mean I'm going to be a Jedi and I'm going to get a lightsaber and I'm going to find a blaster, or am I going to be, some sort of other bounty hunter trying to make it through, trading around? Like I can't even picture what game they're going to make yet. I need more info.
All I know is I think that Ubisoft here, this is a huge opportunity. You think of the people in the top, not just the developers. You think of the people at the top of the food chain there in Ubisoft who are like, listen, we have Star Wars now, right? We're going to put our name on a Star Wars game. Okay, it has been EA only. This is our opportunity to show, they can trust us with their IP. You know what I mean? I think they're going to give it all they got. I really hope they ship a banger here.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
I think the pressure's on them.
I do think that the experience that came from Division is gonna help, especially if they make like another RPG game. They learned a lot of tough lessons from Division.
Okay, I have a quick question. So, if they are doing this Star Wars game, if you had to gamble on it, are they going to lean into Jedi or not Jedi? Like, is it going to be a Jedi game?
I think not Jedi.
I don't think no. Like Mandalorian kind of proved like you don't need Jedi. Well, they're in the Mandalorian, but
the Star Wars universe has so much more to offer than Jedi stories.
I think it's going to be. I really do think it's going to be Star Wars 1313-esque. When you were done this podcast, you guys got to look up that trailer where it's like you are like just cogs in the machine. You're a stormtrooper, or you're part of the rebellion, or you're a soldier, or a bounty hunter, or whatever, and you have this massive. Is it going to be one planet, or maybe like open world? Do you think you can travel to different planets? Like that's an interesting question too.
I think you have to. If it's going to be a AAA Star Wars game, Star Wars is a huge universe. I think they'd be limiting themselves a ton on the player experience if they chose just one planet. Because that's part of the charm.
But if they were like,
Star Wars.
if they're like, if this takes place on Coruscant, just Coruscant, and you have all the different levels, it's like all one giant city, and you go to the underbelly of Coruscant and stuff, I'd be like, oh, that's sweet.
I guess the only risk is like you can't just be like, all right, you're on Tatooine the whole time, and it's like that same environmental palette the whole time.
Yeah,
I feel like there's some stuff, or if it's like
interplanetary warfare. I mean that is the core of Star Wars.
It has to be.
It's gotta be.
You need a desert planet, an ice planet, a lush planet, a city.
Yeah,
like I feel like if you don't have one of those, because someone here likes going to Jabba the Hutt's, bar or whatever you want to call it, his lair, like that is
cantina,
right? That's the pinnacle of Star Wars for them. But for other people, it's like no. The battles on the glaciers, like that's my thing. I feel like there's too many beautiful places, and just like it's a galaxy far, far away. It's huge. It's vast. There is a lot to see, and I think people want that diversity in a Star Wars game. That's what I want for sure.
Yeah, I think, dude, how cool would it be to be raiding on Tatooine, and the raid is to get into Jabba's palace, and that'd be so sick, dude.
Yeah, take out a what do they call Rancor? That big guy.
Yeah, you
Rancor?
kill a Rancor. It's like the raid boss, dude. Oh my god.
Jeez, now I'm all thinking about a new MMO for Star Wars, but
would be a banger, dude.
It would be. So speaking of open world games, there's also some GTA news, but you know what?
Speaking of bangers,
exactly. If you're gonna be playing a big open world game like GTA 6, you're gonna need some advanced GG. They've got multiple amazing flavors, and they are our one and only sponsor. They have been supporting the RGH podcast from the start, and they even gave us a discount code. If you guys are looking for some amazing energy for your gaming, studying, working out, or watching the podcast, I don't know what, maybe you're tired, go to advanced.gg and then use code RGH for 10% off. There's multiple great flavors. We drink it all the time, and you should too. Thank you. Hashtag sponsor, hashtag ad. Beep boop. Okay, now.
Yeah, now he's back to a normal person.
Grand Theft Auto. See, isn't that impressive how I can just go from normal Mtashed to sellout, just like bop, 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 instant.
Yeah.
Instant.
There's a difference between the two?
Wait, what?
I was going to say, it's getting to the point where the sellout Mtashed is the normal Mtashed.
Come on, man. I only did one Raid Shadow Legends ad this week.
Oh my god.
This week, he said.
Come
this
on.
week.
Hey, GTA
It's only Wednesday.
Rockstar tweeted out. They announced, hey, we know our last game, which was a huge banger, by the way. We know our last game. We had our full main cast of characters was 3 dudes. We're gonna change that up this time. We're gonna have our first ever female protagonist that you can play as in GTA 6. So I think that's good. They're showing a little bit of self-awareness. I think that
apparently it's like one of two. There's like a male character and a female. It's like that similar to GTA 5 where there's like a crew. Where sometimes you're Trevor, sometimes you're Michael, whatever. It's like you have another crew, and one of them is female this time. And then there's going to be, I think, they only mentioned 2. Maybe there's more. I don't know.
I think that's good. That's a good play. I know that GTA 5 was not just popular among men, as it turns out. My wife loved GTA 5. She played the crap out of that game. So for female characters or female gamers to have a character they can maybe relate to a little bit better if you identify as a female. That's great. I think it's fantastic. So I'm excited to see where they take that. And we've talked about so many studios that have they've got ups and they've got downs, they've got duds. Can we bank on this game? I think we can bank on. I think that's like everyone's safest bet right now. Is that GTA 6 is gonna be a freaking banger.
I think the real takeaway from this announcement, like obviously there's the people who are like, I don't want to play a female. Like it's like okay, like then just play online and make your own character. Like it doesn't really matter, right? Like it really, I think most people are like, okay, just like it's like that damn I kind of don't care meme in the sense of like obviously this is a good thing for the females who want to enjoy a female character. And again, it goes into like there's a lot of like gaming is overwhelmingly male. Anything that can be done to get more people in that space, like the more gamers, the better. Like it's just like better for everyone. But I think the important thing for this announcement is that they finally acknowledged they're making freaking GTA 6, right? Like they're finally like, said something about this stupid game. They have updated GTA 5 with so many like GTA Online or GTA 5 Online has gotten like so many additions. It's actually crazy. Like it has been literally
the community
years.
just continues to play and play and play.
Dude, it's like years after that game has come out, like freaking shark cards, like that shark money cards or whatever, are still like on Steam top selling stuff. Like, how is that even possible? That game is still so wild. Even today, you said it's like one of the most on Facebook Gaming. It's like one of the most watched games.
Yeah.
Well, and it's crazy.
And a lot of the content is stuff that you could do 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's like
unbelievable, dude.
the meme content. And here's the thing, this will eventually take us into our next topic. The thing is, GTA 5's AI are probably better than even Cyberpunk's, which is a brand new game. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the reasons why that world has sucked so many people in, is it seems and it feels very, very organic.
Well, and the thing is like I feel like it's stood the test of time just gameplay wise, but I feel like it's also built a pretty cool community with the like the role playing stuff, like the RP servers and there was like a huge surge probably like a year and a half ago with all the people doing role play. Like Summit,
the alien things.
Well, Summit was like doing it like you'd go into the server and you have a character like I am a cop, and like you would go and arrest people. So if people were speeding, you'd go and pull them over, like, hey, you've been speeding, and all these things. And that was huge. It was huge. And so like there's that kind of community. So I'm sure that they're like gameplay wise, people are excited. Hey, there's gonna be a new Grand Theft Auto. But
like last year, there was a huge meme, wasn't it? Where like people would dress like the alien characters, and they would just go and like beat people up randomly in the server. Like people would just like walk out of somewhere, and all these guys dressed as aliens would like, and then people started dressing as like the people from the Scooby Doo, and they had the Scooby Doo van. They would like bust out of the van and go and like beat people. It was like this happened like last year, and it's like, dude, this game is like so old, and it's still popping.
Truly. Well, I mean, it's almost kind of like to the point where Dark Souls, like people still make a bunch of Dark Souls videos, even though the game has been beaten, speed run, but they'll like dress up as like a big character all in green and then like only PvP in the swamp and then be like, I'm Shrek and this is my swamp. and they do these like cosplays in game and stuff, or like I am the guardian of the bridge, and like they PvP and they only stand on the bridge and don't let people pass. And it's like, when you have a community that can kind of meme on the game or just create the content, that's how you build a big community. And your longevity in the game, and people will play it 8 years later, even though the game's old, they're making it fresh. They've got the sandbox, and that's what GTA is. It's a sandbox. You do what you want in there. Like, I don't think I've never even done a mission in Grand Theft Auto. I played it like 2 times, and I just drive around and punch stuff. Like that's
kind of the interesting thing. It's like they could have just kind of squatted on GTA 5 and just kept pumping out random content, and it's still making so much bank. Like obviously eventually they've gone and make a new one, but this is really the first like solid information that we've heard like about GTA 6.
I want
like,
to know.
Hey, we're so they're finally obviously getting started in some way.
I think that their next big move, in my opinion, is whenever it's going to be. It's going to break the internet the day that they drop the news. But when they say, this is the location, You know, it's like last time was LA. What's it gonna be this time? Where's GTA 6 gonna be at?
Alabama.
Oh boy.
I don't know. What would be like the most fun city?
That hasn't already been done. That's the question.
Because there's San Francisco, yeah.
San Fran, LA. Oh shoot. So I think honestly,
honestly, you know, what'd be cool? Go international, do Dubai.
Oh,
I don't know.
And like the cops got Lamborghinis to go after you, dude. Like, and they have. You see, they have like the flying.
Yeah, Chicago and
things.
Vegas. Yeah.
That would be wild,
I don't know.
dude.
I kind of want to do like I don't know, maybe southeast US, Georgia, Florida area. All the meme potential there.
With all the with all the lakes and boats, like you could do like a lot of stuff with like boats and all that.
Well, then you could do like Boston, then couldn't you?
Boston. You could go northeast coast, sure.
And then have like it's a pretty big area, dude. And yeah, like have like you have the city and then all the like the rich neighborhoods and people have their boats and stuff. And
no. Someone said Nevada. You break into Area 51, you find a spaceship,
Vegas.
Right? You could fly through with a spaceship. I mean, bro, it'd be cool. Hawaii, maybe.
I think they gotta stay U.S. I think they gotta stay true. And this isn't me being a jerk because I'm from the States.
Dubai is big enough that like everyone knows what Dubai is, though.
Yeah, but I think that like the franchise really is all about just showing off the absolute worst parts of American culture, and that's like that's what they meme on. That's like the heart of what they like, the whole Hollywood idea, and like everybody's being so vain and caught up in their image and all that stuff. They just really went ham on that idea with GTA 5.
Have they done Miami?
I don't think they've done Miami yet.
That would be a good one, dude.
Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I don't think they've done Miami yet, at least not since I started playing the game.
Dude, Miami is like an iconic world-renowned city.
Party city. Like
Party city.
Imagine if they did it like back when Pablo Escobar was shipping like
1980s Miami,
tons of cocaine to Miami,
and then you've got that interesting like the more like aspect or Vice. Okay, so Vice City was supposed to be Miami. Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Vice City was Miami. So Chad has caught it. So that's my bad. I knew. I was like saying it. I was like, how have they not done Miami? And I really thought of Vice City. I was like, is Vice City a different city? That makes sense. So Vice City is Miami. So we're right. I mean, it is iconic, clearly, because I already did it.
See, the other thing too is, I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like people are gonna like the female character like more than you'd think. Because if you're in Grand Theft Auto and you're like a badass, like breaking the law and stuff, like isn't like a badass chick like more fun than like I'm the mob guy? You know what I mean? Like just for the change up. Like I'd rather
it opens up an interesting, different kind of character.
Right? Like what like especially because like depending on the size, like she just might have to be real friggin' violent or use weapons or like whatever. But I feel like it'd be kind of cool to watch, and just like that cinematic is going to be such a different experience for people. Because I don't know,
what's her character going to be like. She can be like a femme fatale sort of a character,
like,
or is she going to be like mega aggressive and
like we don't know. Like, is she like an old MMA fighter and now
let's do Grand Theft Auto 6 Nantucket, and we do like Maine, where it's just you go and how much lobster can you eat in one day, and it's just very laid back. I think that's what people need these days.
That's right.
Go eat dinner, but don't tip.
Yeah. Oh, that's the most scandalous thing you do,
right?
But
Grand Theft Auto Martha's Vineyard. That's where we do it, boys. That's what it is.
Mission Hill. That's where I'm going.
Let's talk about Cyberpunk.
Mission Hill. Yeah, true.
Let's talk about Cyberpunk. So if you guys were
New Orleans would be. Sorry, someone said New Orleans. That would be not bad. Or St. Louis, like or just somewhere in the south there.
St. Louis is not in the south, but yeah, I think New Orleans would be fantastic. But anyways, Cyberpunk. So CD Projekt Red released a video today, okay? and it's an apology saying, "Oh, we're gonna acknowledge publicly that." And well, here's the thing: the whole heart of the video
Apology.
was we're very happy with Cyberpunk 2077 on PC. That's a great product. We dropped the ball on the console version, and they provided some context. You know, we bit off more than we could chew. We started with our whole development started on the high end side of things, like PC and next gen console. What do we want it to look like? And then it was, we can still make this work on old gen. And so sort of as they continue to pile on more features and things they wanted on the premiere experience, that just made more and more work for the old gen stuff. So they said, you know, it's not, he literally says, he says, we're not blaming our development team. They're great people, great stuff. But then he goes on to really only target the QA team. And there's been a lot of lashback, actually, because the QA team, if you're not familiar, what they do is the developers give them a version of the game, right? Or a segmented part of the game. And their job is to play through it and just to basically be like sleuths, where they're trying to like just scan, how can I break this game? They're trying to find bugs. Their job is not to fix bugs. Their job is not to find solutions to problems. Their job is to find problems. Okay. And so they can only work with what they've been given. Now, we know that the old gen version of the game was not ready. They didn't even issue out review codes until correct me if I'm wrong, it was
December 8th for console.
I was gonna say it's December, very, very, very late.
2 days before launch. December 8th.
2 days before. So your QA team, we are to assume it's not a ton before that, not a long time before that. They're going to have a finalized version of the game to be combing over. So their QA team kind of got thrown under the bus, and the apology did not even acknowledge a majority of the points of feedback that the community, even the PC community, is saying about the game. Now, on top of that, they also provided a roadmap for the following year. You know, what's going to happen? Where are the patches? When's the free DLC coming? And we find out that the game is not going to get an update to make it next gen friendly for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. It's not going to look like a next gen game until late in the year.
Like so fall 2021.
You're talking, if you bought the game for your PS5, you can't play it as a PS5 game until a year after the game launched, essentially. That's where we're at.
Right. A year later. Like,
yeah. Doesn't that kind of go into what people, including myself, were saying in the sense of, remember how we said, like, yeah, Beyond Light wasn't the biggest banger, and part of that reason is because Bungie was working hard on the next gen upgrade version, and people are like, shut up, it's just because Destiny's trash, right? But like, if CD Projekt Red can't manage to make the next gen version until next fall, doesn't that kind of like prove that like Bungie actually spend a significant amount of resources getting this next gen version? Because we got the next gen version of Destiny 2 for free December 10th, right? Mm-hmm. Same day as Cyberpunk came out, actually. So like clearly that shows that the developers had their priorities differently. Like, so that's absolutely wild that the next gen version isn't coming for an entire year. And especially in a single player game, a lot of people are just going to play the game and beat the game and be done with it by that time. And then they're like, okay, it looks nicer now. Are you going to go back and replay it just because it looks nicer?
I'm playing the game on PS5. That's where I play the game at. And I've been sticking with it. I'm now about to finish my second playthrough of the game. I actually like the game, but I am very realistic about the problems that the game has. But I've been sticking with it because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get some free DLC, and hopefully that next gen update is going to come early 2021. So hopefully it's just kind of just around the corner. So that news to me today was basically a killing blow to my motivation to continue to play the game, because I do not want to play the free DLC on a PS4 version of the game. I do not want to pay for the game again to play it on PC. I'm in a tough predicament, and a lot of next gen players are right now, where they're like, what are the chances realistically that I return to this game in a year?
Yeah. A single player game.
play the way it was supposed to play on launch day in 2020. I think, well, and here's another interesting tidbit of information. CD Projekt Red is actually getting subtweeted by other peers of theirs in the game development industry, which is actually really uncommon, by the way. The gaming industry is it's smaller than most people think. A lot of developers hop around, or a lot of like individual devs, individual employees can hop around, between 2, 3, 4 different development teams owned by different companies. So to speak out against your peers is typically a pretty taboo move, because you may be tanking your chances of having job security with a different company down the road. But anyways, a lot of the peers actually subtweeting them today since that video came out, being like, bro, you cannot throw your QA team under the bus like that. It is not their job to fix bugs. The fact that it shipped with these many bugs is not their problem.
It's
so
your problem.
Really,
you didn't get them fixed, and because
absolutely.
most of them are so obvious that it's like you don't need the QA team to point that out. Right. Like half the cutscenes are bugging. Like fix that, bro. You don't need a team to like try to break the game. It's already broken. So
I had a game-breaking glitch playing this game last night. I had a game-breaking glitch. I was talking to Kackis about this, that set me back half an hour of gameplay because I had to revert to an autosave so far back to get to a point where I could get around that glitch. It was so bad.
Yeah. Also, like, the fact that they didn't address, it's like, yeah, the graphics are bad. It's like, yeah, that's one part of it. Like, the AI is so buggy and weird, and there's like perks that do nothing, and there's no end game, and like the build's strength is like super wonky, where if you like commit to a build, you just like beat the entire game basically in like 2 seconds. So they didn't address anything like that.
No,
No,
they left a lot of stuff out, and their whole PC community, especially today on Reddit, after hearing that video, after watching that video, they're like, "What are you talking about? We have given you so much feedback on the game, and people who love the game and want to see it succeed are like, I feel offended. Like, you haven't heard a single word we've been saying over here. We're trying to give you feedback on things that can help make your game better, and all you do is talk about glitches in QA and how they drop the ball." And a lot of people just really, really disappointed. And I was too, admittedly. And this is coming from somebody that's not a CD Projekt Red hater. I'm not a Cyberpunk hater. Like I said, I play the game. I'm on my second playthrough of the game right now and about to finish it up. I've invested a ton of hours into this game. I see that there's some potential there and some magic there, but there's a lot of gaping holes in the game. And it could be great. It's good, but it could be great. And they didn't talk about any of those things, those points of feedback that the community has been trying to put in front of them time and time again. And it is also a little bit of a disappointment. I know this is okay. Some people may disagree with this take, and that's totally fine. But as a next gen gamer, someone playing on PS5, I was personally disappointed to see that there's DLC slated to come out like long before we're ever going to get an update to the game to make it play like a next gen game.
yeah,
That's a
that
disappointment.
seems silly. You'd think that they'd save the DLC. Like, that would be the reason to come back. Hey, it's the next gen version and there's new content to play. Like, sign me up.
But I don't want to play new content when it's just gonna be broken again.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not gonna run properly. Like, so I'm not coming back.
You want to play a DLC that like you won't even be able to watch a cutscene? Like,
this has to be one of the fastest and like aggressive tarnishing of a brand image or a brand name
I've seen. Golden boy of gaming.
Like, I have never seen a company yeet their their fan base, their reputation so fast. What other company has gone from golden boy to this that fast? I don't even know.
Just
like some of them have been a slow progression, but this is like overnight, 1 month from the best developer in the game. Or like everyone is like, I will do anything CD Projekt Red can't fail. To now, it's like, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. Mm-hmm. They threw their devs under the bus. Like, they're getting investigated. That's crazy. Like, this isn't even as bad as No Man's Sky. In No Man's Sky, it's like, yeah, they weren't ready, but they're like, hey, we're gonna fix it. And then they started fixing it. And then they put an update and an update and an update. And now it's like, damn, No Man's Sky is not the game you played. If any of you play No Man's Sky, if you have not played since it released, go try it. It is a completely different experience.
And interestingly, it's two different tactics. No Man's Sky basically just went radio silent. They like didn't tweet anything. They didn't say anything they knew. Like anything they said, they'd be roasted, right? And that is, you got to in some ways feel a little sorry for CD Projekt Red in the sense that they are right about a lot of the devs are extremely hardworking people, and it's kind of unfortunate. And anything they do is going to be met with a lot of memes and scorn. And so the interesting thing is, like, every time they do one of these apologies, especially when it's as bad as it was today, they just get more and more ripped into, and they look worse. Where No Man's Sky just said nothing, went radio silent until they put out a free update, right? And added all this content, fixed a ton of bugs. They said a few things, then they put out another update, right? And they started getting more talkative and started interacting more as they were just fixing the game. Like, they just basically shut up and fixed the game.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And to add to it, unfortunately, CD Projekt Red with this video, they showed a like a timeline where they're saying, okay, here is our roadmap for the year.
You thought the Destiny roadmaps were vague, bro?
There's not there. It's just text over a bar graph with no indicators. Like, where does the line end and start? Like, is the ending of the bar graph 2023 or 2022? Like, fall. It doesn't say fall, summer. It doesn't say December. It doesn't say June. It says nothing. It's just a bar
it shows
graph
2021. It's like 2020, 2021, and then there's and it's like updates, and it's like a big area. It's like what?
Then we're gonna have another update, and there's gonna be some free DLC, and you're like, but what's the timeline look like? I don't.
People trying to look at that, compare it to the year. It's like
they got pixels. Like
it was like. We need to show them something, but also show them nothing. How do we make that happen?
Yeah, literally.
Give them a bar. Like, just put a bar, and then just don't put any times or dates or info.
No context or anything. we don't want them to have expectations here. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's honestly why they're doing it, is that they want, if they said like, okay, free DLC in March, I don't think they'd do it. I think it'd end up coming out later than that, and they don't want to commit to it. So they're like, free DLC in 2021. We'll see you there.
Depends on how this lawsuit goes. We really don't know.
Yeah, exactly. They might be closing up shop. Well, not all the way, but you know what I mean. Like, who knows what's gonna happen in this game? Would they just abandon it and be like, fuck it, dudes? It's beyond the point of repair.
What is I want to see what the stock price is at.
Probably not good.
It's still going down, bro. It's still going down. So the last episode when we were kind of talking about it, it was like around. So it dropped down to $71 around, and then it kind of went up to 75. And we talked about it 71, 75. Then it dropped down to 65, went back up, and now today it lost another 4%. So probably as that announcement happened, like if you look at the one day chart, it was at $70 at the beginning of the day, and now it's down to 66. And like I can't imagine tomorrow it stops. So they went in the course of a month, in the course of 2 months, from $120 a share to 66. That's crazy. That is crazy. Good. That is like insanity. GG. Their stockholders are not gonna be happy.
Yeah, GG CD Projekt Red. It's like man, this whole thing is crazy. I really wonder, like, what should they have just delayed it another year?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Like, people would have been so mad, but
can't do anything worse. I think anything they did would have been an improvement on what actually transpired.
Is that not a case study on don't fucking release it until it's ready? Oh, I just did it again. I just demonetized
swear jar. We're getting an Mtashed swear emote. Although I actually swore just before that, but you guys didn't notice. It went under the radar. So hopefully the YouTube demonetization system doesn't notice either.
I used a drug earlier too.
Oh well.
Talking about GTA.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We should do Miami where all the coke is. Like, oh!
Woo! Oh! But like honestly, like you're probably gonna have worse sales long term. You're gonna have worse brand, reception. Like everyone's pissed at CD Projekt Red now. They've tanked the goodwill of their company. Yeah. They've absolutely eviscerated the faith that their players
So
have.
many games this has happened to. Like, what if they gave the people, like, what if they give Anthem another year in the oven, and then it actually launched with the Cataclysm thing and stuff like that? And like, I feel like it would have been actually like a lot better. Like, just so many games just suffered because they just put it out too early, and it's just like it never worked. It almost never works out, except for No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky brought it back.
And I know they have set budgets and stuff, and like development costs are high. But with some of these games, it's like you put a lot of time and money into it already. And I understand, like, if that cost keeps bloating, that cuts into profits. But that's like the game that CD Projekt Red was going to release. They're not going to have anything else ready to go for years and years and years. So if you don't recoup those costs, if you don't sell it, if it isn't a banger, well, then you're handcuffing yourself for the next game too. So it's kind of a lose-lose. You're either going to lose money for delaying, or you're going to tank your revenue stream by putting out a bad game. So I think that they made the wrong decision, and they got greedy. I think they got greedy. They got greedy. They tried to put it out. They tried to PR it. They tried to slough it off.
It out by the holiday.
Yeah, it's just, and they got punished.
It backfired. I'm just looking forward to the next lightning in a bottle game. You know, just you didn't even see it coming. It just came out of nowhere. Everyone loves it. You know what I'm saying? We've had so many of those games in 2020. I'm looking forward to seeing what 2021 offers in that department.
Yeah,
these like dark horses that just come out of nowhere. And you think if Among Us had never happened, what would Mr. Fruit's content look like today? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's a lot of people who have like Markiplier. Markiplier's done a ton of banger Phasmophobia content. What would he be doing? You know, what is content? How it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much lightning in a bottle content for 2020. I'm looking forward to whatever stuff just comes out of the woodwork this year.
And it's kind of an exciting time. Like, even though I didn't really jump on the Fortnite train, but like seeing it all happen is pretty interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
And like when Apex comes out and it's like everyone's like, this new game just drops? What the hell? And again, I'm not a big BR guy, but playing Apex for the first few times, I was like, wow, this is sick. Like, this is a pretty
like
insane
Modern Warfare
game.
2 gun style. Love it.
Still playing it. I played it today. Love that game.
Yeah, it like had a renaissance. It's like popping off.
Yeah.
For sure. They've supported that game exceptionally well. I mean, kudos to Respawn. I do wish they would say, hey, we did a bunch of hiring, and we are working on Titanfall 3. I really want another Titanfall installment because 2 was just incredible. It just launched at the wrong time. But they have done, I have to give credit where credit is due. The way that they've supported Apex Legends is phenomenal. They continue to release new lore and cutscenes and story content that helps add context to the universe that they're creating. And the new characters that they release, the way that they do balance updates, their limited time events, it's just always a fresh experience. And the new map they released this season called Olympus is incredibly well done. It's just a really interesting environment to play any game in, let alone a battle royale.
Yeah, for sure. All right, gamers. Well, I think we've come to the end of our topic list. However, we're not stopping the podcast just yet. What we like to do here now is we're going to switch the chat into members only mode. So our members can have a chance you guys can ask us questions and topics. If you're not a member, don't fret. Stick around, and we usually have the absolute most wild conversations as part of this. Usually we just get off topic and our members stop asking questions and then just egg us on into ridiculous.
Pour another whiskey and just let it go.
Keep drinking whiskey to Vanguard. But if you want to become a member and support us, then Tash is going to post in the chat a bunch of the links.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, don't go anywhere. We're same old conversation, but we're going to switch over so that the questions can come from the members.
Before we do that, though, I want to be a little bit greedy here. Before you go, before I put it into members only, because I have a question. We've been doing this podcast for 20 episodes now. I would love your quick 1 to 2, maybe even 3, maybe even 4 sentence review of this podcast. What are you guys feeling? Are you enjoying it? Are the conversations flowing better? Are you enjoying the topics? Does it feel like this is a great podcast? Maybe some things you'd like to see change or things you'd like to hear us talk about. I'd just love some feedback while you guys are here because we love doing this podcast. It is like my highlight of the weekend to hang out with my buddies. And it seems like we've got a really good base of viewership here. And it seems like you guys are really having a lot of fun. And I'd just love to know your thoughts. Because when we post a podcast online, like on Anchor and stuff, we can't see what our viewer or like I guess our listeners are saying. We get 2,000 or 3,000 people that are listening to it, but we don't get any feedback there. And once the podcast is off, you guys are all talking about the podcast, but we don't. I don't know. A lot of the comments are just kind of talking about the topics and not really feedback on the podcast. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I do read all those. I don't know about you. I read every single comment on all the YouTube uploads we do. So if you're listening to this podcast and it's not live, you're not in the live chat right now, please feel free. If you want to respond, if you're like, man, I'd like to respond to that.
Yeah,
Mtashed, do it. I'll read it. We'll pass it along.
Someone's feedback is put on a shirt, Tash, you charlatan. Oh my god.
I'm flexing, bro.
People don't like it when you wear black though, Mike, because you have a black background on the thing. So
he just disappears. So it's like a floating, very skinny arms.
So I might as well take it all off. I might as well take it all off.
No, we didn't say that.
Well, that's good. Wow. What positivity. See, I really just wanted an ego boost before I went.
TV should be on top. I am on Friday night.
Whoa! Heyo! Well, thank you guys so much for that. We did get some donations. John Steele with a $5 donation said, "Awesome work, guys." And Archangel Nishan, $20 donation. Personally, one thing I'd love was a Star Wars game would be to get the Grey Order storyline, where the lore and mantras were explained, or a bounty hunter, like you guys were saying, being trained by Boba Fett. Yeah, that would be pretty sick. That would be a really cool little storyline. Okay, we're gonna pop off here and put it into members only, just in case you guys have any kind of specific questions. We'd like to kind of give back to people that are financially supporting the podcast. But we appreciate all of you guys for being here, liking, sharing, following, hitting that bell notification, and commenting, just keeping that chat alive. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I saw someone. Obviously, some of the feedback is that I interrupt you guys, or that we interrupt each other, definitely. But I want to say, honestly, I know I need to stop interrupting people, but I think I love our podcast because we tell each other to shut up, or we tell each other that we're wrong. It's like, no, listen, this is what it really is. I don't know. Like, I feel like if everyone says that they're a little bit, and that's my opinion, stop. And then there's an awkward silence, and someone goes, "Well, now my opinion on the matter is as follows." And it's like, oh, bro, I'm gonna fall asleep. Like, I don't know. It's just we get too into the topic sometimes.
And you're not gonna remember us by anything if we take all the memes out.
Yeah, exactly. I stop interrupting. They're losing all the flair. You know what I mean? Yeah, I do need to upgrade my camera, dude. This camera is so old and crappy. So hey, become a member so we can fund a new camera.
Sell that robe.
No, I can't sell the robe. I spent all my money on robes. I don't have enough money to upgrade my camera. That's why I got this camera out of a dumpster. It's the best I could do.
A lot of people we've heard that one before in reference to the comment about having guest co-hosts. I think a lot of podcasts do that really well, and they're used to incorporating guests into their show. But that's not really the vision. I'll tell you guys right now. I know that you might like that first. That's not really our vision for the show, though. Kackis is already interrupting with just two of us. You get a fourth person here.
Would never be able to talk, dude. What do you mean? Like,
so we would rather focus on topics. That's from the get-go. By design, we decided we wanted to really focus on topics on the show and talk about gaming news, not necessarily about highlighting other creators. And we talk about other creators plenty on the show. I mean, in this show alone, this episode alone, we've mentioned probably 5 or 6 different content creators. Talked about Markiplier. We talked about.
But what Vanguard is basically saying is that you've got the 3 best, most funny, most entertaining content creators on the same podcast, and bringing on a guest would only bring the podcast down. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody can keep up with these energy levels, baby.
I mean,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
That's obviously a joke. But yeah, no, it's like it's not about bringing on people, because we're just talking about the wildest stuff that happened in the last week, right? Of gaming. And sometimes, we have weeks that are more or less wild than others. It's just what happens.
The only time I could see it working and like being somewhat interesting is like, we've got this person in the Discord call. We're going to drag them in for 4 minutes to to give their side of it. And that's it. Maybe, but like other than that, like having someone there sitting the whole time, and it's like, how do we know if they even researched these games or saw these announcements, or like even if they care about half this stuff? Like, at least because when we make an episode, we go over different things and we're posting it into Twitter, and we kind of make we make that topic list on things we're interested about, and maybe there's 6 or 7 things, and we're like, we don't, that one's boring. And if you bring in another person, it just kind of, I don't know.
Another factor is that we really wanted this to be a concise as well. We don't want to talk about any one topic for too long that people start to get disinterested. You get a 4th person in, that's 4 different opinions you have to get on each topic. Otherwise, people are going to be like, hey, why are you not incorporating so-and-so into the conversation? I'd love to hear so-and-so's thoughts on this. So the more people you add, it's going to become, Real Gamer hour and a half, Real Gamer 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We wanted to keep it concise, which was to keep an hour of your time for the bulk of the episode to get through the topic.
Yeah, an hour about gaming, half an hour about ranting about Star Wars and
whatever else,
buttery noodles or whatever we talk about.
We got 2 new memberships. 2 new memberships. Jim Geisler with a brand new membership. Welcome to the RGH, Real Gamers. And then Bee Gees, big fan of the Bee Gees, favorite band, I can tell. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Appreciate it. You guys are cute.
Wait a minute, no Twitch news this week? That's a good point. There's a couple of almost made the list. Obviously the one guy who had like 2 million viewers showing off his Fortnite skin.
Yeah,
massive. But like, I've never heard of this guy. It sets to bed. I was saying it sets to bed the whole Fortnite is dead thing when 2 million people are tuning in to see this guy's 2.4 million people are tuning in just to see this dude's Fortnite skin.
Yeah.
Like, how can you say that game is dead? It's obviously not dead.
And then there's like these creators, like these Spanish creators that maybe you haven't ever heard of, but they're literally bigger than Ninja and Shroud and like Laserbeam, and like they're literally like the biggest creators you've ever seen. Like, they're like Mr. Beast size, and it's just like, I've never even heard of them. Because like a lot of the content, you don't see it on YouTube either, though. Like, they're not going to show you a bunch of Spanish stuff because you don't speak Spanish. You don't live in a Spanish country, and so it just won't show you. It's not going to show you French content or Russian content or anything like that. And so there's these massive creators that you might not know about, and they're bigger. They're bigger than your favorite content creators. And I think that was just big proof. Is like, hey, I'm gonna do a stream showing off this new skin, and I'm gonna triple the Twitch viewership single streamer record.
Yeah, like
I think it was like 3 times,
and it's not even that. It's not even close to that.
I think it was 600,000. So he like 4 times it. Are you kidding me? It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
And they did the PogChamp rotate. We talked about that. Yeah, they're rotating PogChamps every day.
Yep.
Which is cool.
Yeah, they did.
Mordsith asked, have you guys tried out Senua's Sacrifice? What did you guys think of the psychological aspect?
I don't know what that is.
That's the one. I haven't even heard of that. I don't even know what that is.
Probably it's with the girl, and it has like the
audio, like the blue stuff.
Yeah,
blue interface. Yeah,
you guys didn't play that one?
No.
Oh, it's weird because it like in your headset and both sides, it's like her thoughts, like schizophrenia, and so you'll be playing, and you'll be playing, and it's almost like her thoughts battling. So you'll be like walking towards the door, and so there will be a voice in your ear going, "Go to the door, go to the door." But then there will be like another one going, "No, no, no, not that one, not that one." And so it whispers in your ear, and it's like really, it's an experience, and it's like doing it almost constantly. And so you're trying to play through this game, and there's all these voices talking to you. It's kind of spooky. It's really disorienting overall. It's like, holy cow, I can't even focus on what I'm supposed to do because you're trying to do a puzzle, and it's like triangle, triangle. No, not the square. And it's like, oh, what am I doing? I'm trying to figure the symbol out. And I think there is a second one.
So basically, it's like playing Iron Banner with a team, and your team's like, yo, they're at B. No, dude, they're at C. I'm telling you, they're at C. It's like, dude, I just saw them at B. What are you, an idiot?
It's like trying to do this podcast with you talking at us the whole time, bro. We're trying to get to our point, and it's just Kackis in our ear the whole damn time.
Okay.
Power through.
Yeah.
I've been playing VR games. We got an Oculus this week. So we've been playing VR games, like there's a Darth Vader game where you basically he recruits you. You're like a descendant of some ancient person or whatever, So you actually get to like lightsaber duels. It's really, really cool. So I've been doing a lot of that this week. That's kind of what I've been experimenting with. I never really got into VR stuff
Did you play
until now.
Did you play Beat Saber yet? Like, have you tried it?
Yeah.
Love
We were
that.
playing Beat. Steph and I were just taking. That's what we did last night before bed. We just took turns doing Beat Saber.
Have you seen the new one that's like it's like the medieval one, and it's so that they just like throw targets at you, and like it's almost like on a treadmill, kind of the same way. So there would be like a dummy, and
Yeah.
you have to slash in half or like shoot the target and stuff. It
No,
looks
I don't
that
know.
one looked pretty cool. I don't know if it's like fully out yet, but that one looked really cool.
We're gonna take turns doing Phasmophobia in
Oh,
VR
that would be good.
because we play a ton of Phasmophobia, but it'll be different in VR. I underestimated the immersion. I really did. I was like, oh yeah, VR looks cool, but I did severely underestimate just how immersed you would feel.
I
It's
play
almost
Phasmophobia with just a headset, and then my lights turned off, and that's enough, bro. I can't handle anymore. I'm like
I
freaking
kid
out,
you
dude.
not. I kid you not. One night we had just gotten done playing Phasmophobia, and Steph went to bed, and I came upstairs after her out of my office. And the second I got into the kitchen, the lights flickered and went off. The light bulbs died, and I was like, ah!
Sprinted upstairs. Ah!
yeah. And then he texted me, "I'm scared." We got
Oh
a
my
couple more
gosh.
donations. A White Lotus Chief with a $5 donation. Anthony Heese with a $5 donation says, "How do I become a member?" And then becomes a member because I posted the link.
He figured it out.
Finally, I can sip for my boys.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
That's another good question.
It's supposed to be an actual, somewhat accurate description of living with schizophrenia. Yeah, I think they asked, like, they tried to get like a bunch of people's input on what it's like, and then they kind of played it back to them, and they're like, "Yeah, that is kind of what it's like. Like, that's how it is."
Someone said, "You're a good guy, Kackis. I should have him stuffed." I can actually. Someone finally said it. Jesus.
He's gonna just screenshot that.
Yeah,
correct it on the
screenshot.
wall.
I said that as my Twitter header. Like, see, someone actually freaking agrees, dude.
He's gonna print that out and put it on the wall behind him there. He's just
8
like,
years and nearly a
"Yeah."
million subscribers. Finally, one person said it. My God. What else? People talking about drinking vodka. Yeah, psychos. That's horrible
Vodka.
stuff.
What do you
Vodka.
mean?
Where's it's just people saying, "Where's the Twitch drama, dude?" Twitch has actually. Oh my gosh, put that away. He probably just has water in it, dude. He 100% has water in it. You don't.
I gotta look tough.
Look at it, his lips stay closed, dude. Yeah, he doesn't take a single molecule of that.
I didn't even take that lid. If I just take the lid off, I'd pass out. Like, just the smell of that 40%, and I'm out of here.
Will we see RGH merch? I don't know. We'll see where the show goes. Right now, this really is sort of a pet. Like, I say pet project, but I don't want to like undermine our commitment to it. We're not aloof.
Looks like you just did.
We're committed to it, but it really is. It's just something we've been talking about for so long, and we finally decided to do something about it. So we are committed to it. We do take it very seriously, but it is a bit of a pet project for us. And I don't say that to demean it. We are really passionate about it, but we'll see where it goes. That's kind of where we're at right now. Like, yeah, we'll see where it goes. It's just fun.
Have you ever been watching a podcast and then they have ads for other podcasts on the podcast? It's like, "Hey, are you interested in mystery stories? Well, then check out our podcast instead of the one you're listening to." Like, you can do stuff like that. Like, we could advertise it, and like we could smash out advertisements in every single video we do, and I'm sure we could grow it much more. But like, we're vibing and we're doing really good with it, and I don't know.
Did you see there was this Twitter video that was circulating last week? This guy that was a meme and hard on podcasts, and it's like a 2-minute dialogue where he just edits like himself talking, to the host.
I did see that.
It was actually really funny. It's like 2 minutes where he said nothing at all.
Oh,
but
I
it's
did
just
see
all
that.
conversation.
See, the thing about this issue that I have to say that's groundbreaking, that's important, and this is really important, and this is really groundbreaking. And you just
yeah, that's why we have you on the show. We want to hear your thoughts about it. Yeah, that's absolutely. And I do talk about this a little bit on my own podcast as well. Yes, absolutely. Check out the link in the description. We'll talk about your. Yeah, it's 2 minutes long. It was funny.
And then he's like, gets into it. He's like, "And now I don't want you to get me wrong." Like he before he even says it, it's like he's got to like make a disclaimer and then a disclaimer for that disclaimer.
Literally like 2 minutes long without saying anything at all.
It's
That's
funny.
great.
A $5 donation from Archangel. Kackis, how would you describe the draw of Outriders if you're trying to sell it to a friend?
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about Outriders. Me and Tash have played it twice now, I think, right?
Yep.
And here's the draw right now, actually, that kind of just came out this news. Here's the draw of Outriders. They're releasing a free demo on February 25th, and all of your progress in that demo will carry over to the full game. There's your draw. I think literally everyone, because that's such a fantastic move, I think everyone should go and at least try it because there's literally no downside. If you like it, you are making a more informed purchase. And if you like it, you can actually invest in the demo and your time isn't completely wasted. It'll carry over into the full game. And I'd love to see, like, I wish there was that for, like, there was other demos or betas of like the Division and even Destiny. And it always sucks when you have these betas and demos of an RPG game and you know that like you're enjoying the beta, but
Time waste.
everything you're doing is a complete and utter waste of time other than just trying the product. So like I think hopefully this whole like try it out, if you like it, you can even carry your progression. I love that model. So there's my pitch for it.
My thing is
That's
like the announcement of the end game. It almost seems like the Greater Rift system from Diablo, and I want to try it. I want to get to the end game, and I want to test it, and I want to hammer it and see, is this good? Because if
Same.
it is kind of like the Greater Rift system, and you're getting better gear and beating it faster equals better rewards, and it's getting harder and harder. I mean, that could be really fun. Haven't seen really any shooters do that, and if it can have some sort of like continued progression, could be sweet. If
Really?
anything, we've tried a bunch of the different classes and abilities, and they're fun. Like they're really interesting to play overall.
Every time we've played, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Like, and it's ran. Like it's not like you know, we're not having Cyberpunk issues over here, as far as we can tell.
That's good. D Mendez asked as well. He said, "What do you guys think of the Crucible Playbook's recent poll? Sounds like they want to nerf everything into the ground." I am not familiar with the poll, but I will say this: I've seen so many comments from people who are like, "If stasis is so powerful, if Felmisters is so powerful, if Arbalest is so powerful, what we need to do is we need to bring everything up to this level." And I think I really think it's a terrible take, because if you take the things that are super easy to use and super powerful and you raise everything up to that level, then you're gonna lose out on the things that take skill. And I really like having to try in Destiny. I don't want everything to be as powerful as the things that you don't have to try with in order to be successful. I hate that idea. And it is also a lot easier to say, these few things are sticking up way above the others. Let's push them back down so everything's in line. It's a lot easier to do that than to say we have hundreds of things that are underperforming. Let's bring them all up. That's a whole lot of work.
Yeah,
And
but
power
I think
creep's the real thing.
in fairness to that, I think though that I don't think the argument is a bad take, because I think it's a very realistic take when presented with people who don't want to nerf things. It's like, if you don't want to nerf stasis, if you are someone who's like, you dumb streamers want to nerf stasis and I want to keep getting kills with it, they shouldn't nerf it. It's like, okay, if that's the case, if they're not going to nerf stasis, then we have to bring other things to that level, right? So now think about every ability, every vortex grenade, solar grenades, they now suck you into the center. You like that? Does that sound overpowered? If it does, that proves how overpowered stasis is. And then you kind of finagle the argument back to showing how obviously you should nerf these things, right? Because that's if you're saying that something shouldn't be nerfed, the only other alternative is to raise things to that level, because you can't have like one thing on top, right? One thing so hilariously on top, like Fellwinter's Light. It's so obviously the best shotgun, and your idea of taking away quick draw for just the aggressive frame archetype, I thought was not a bad idea. If quick draw can only spawn on the lesser damaging shotguns, that would give you a huge incentive to use those.
Choice. You know,
you'd actually have to make a choice. I've always said that the shotguns that, you know, potentially shoot a little bit faster, or maybe the middle shotguns should have the best ranges, and the high damaging ones maybe have a sharper damage fall off, but within that damage, they can one shot, you know, kill supers or whatever. That's, I don't know. So, this is all just, you know, going off the tip of my head, but it's important to say that, you know, things have to change. Like, you can't have these things so obviously better than everything else.
I mean, the thing is though, if they do bring everything up, it like if you were that annoyed at stasis And then all of a sudden, okay, so what we're doing is we're going to take Dawnblade with the crazy movement of top tree, but also it's going to extend every time you get a kill of bottom tree. You know, like they're going to start making these things so strong that you're just going to start getting mad at those. And it's like people despise stasis. Like I despise stasis. It has like ruined the game for me. But I would be just as mad if a solar grenade sucks me in. I would be just as mad if someone hits me with a fusion grenade and instantly kills me. Like I don't know what the fix is, but I feel like Destiny has had this like only buffs. Like don't nerf only buff for so long. Like I feel like Triple Rex said it one time in a stream like 4 years ago after they kept nerfing things and then it just stuck. It's like, well, you have to nerf some stuff. It's just they kept nerfing stuff and so people were against it, but they can't just keep that mentality forever.
And I think a main thing is like, and a fair argument is like, okay, well, then they're gonna obviously Stasis's problem is in PvP, and then so if they add like a cooldown to Shadow Dive, then you know it's pretty much impossible to have a cooldown to Shadow Dive only in PvP. So that means Shadow Dive has a cooldown in PvE, and Shadow Diving is not necessarily completely broken in PvE, so it ruins a lot of the fun of PvE. And I know balancing them separately. I know this argument, but I don't think Bungie has resources. And if they haven't done it by now, I don't think they're going to do it. I'm just
saying, here's where you're at. You have two options. You really do have two options. And you have to pick the one that is most realistic for them if it means the health of the game is in the balance. Because here's where I'm at. I am so frustrated with Destiny right now. I am on the fringes of saying I'm done until it changes. And I'm not saying that's not a power move like, oh, I'm going to hold my gameplay hostage against Destiny. I want Destiny to be the best version of itself it can be. And if that means it has to become something that is unappealing to me, then that's what it means. That's fine. I'm okay with that. As long as Destiny gets to survive, that's fine. But for me, this is where I'm at. You have two options. It's either you have to separate how you balance. You need to have PvE and PvP, separate sandboxes, balanced separately. And Stasis will play completely differently depending on what environment you're in. That's option number one. That is a huge challenge. It's a huge undertaking. I understand that. Option number two is you disable Stasis in PvP. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
And if one of those things does not happen, I cannot guarantee that the Destiny is going a direction that I can get on board with.
I think it's also like, you know, Bungie has said the reason that they don't have separate sandboxes, they said, listen, we want, if you unlock a weapon, if you unlock an ability and you're using it, you should be able to have that same experience in PvP. You shouldn't like be like, okay, why is it working one way in PvE and a different way in PvP? That explanation makes a ton of sense. Very reasonable. But I think, you know, times change and ideas change. And clearly the people who came up with that principle, there's also people who came up with double primaries, and they could not have proven more unequivocally wrong. So clearly, Bungie has to take a look in the mirror and say, we're not always right. We screw up a lot, actually. But one of the better features is that they're willing to recognize where they screwed up and they're willing to change, thankfully. So hopefully they can look at that and say, you know what? That was our ideal going into it, but I think it's time to really separately balance these sandboxes, because the thing is, like, for anyone who tries to defend Stasis, it's not like this is just like a niche argument. The player numbers are extremely low. We have like less players at the same time after an expansion than we had with
Shadowkeep.
Shadowkeep. I think that the trials for like this week, most recent weekend's trials were like the 6th lowest ever. And it's like, dude, the sniper rifle's actually good. Like, this trial sniper is actually pretty decent. It can get like snapshot, opening shot, or snapshot Vorpal, and it's being offered as an adept weapon for the first time ever.
And I believe
you're telling me, and you're telling me that it's one of the lowest trials populations of all time.
And I believe it's a popular map. I think Dead Cliffs is like pretty popular overall.
Dead Cliffs is very popular.
Yeah.
Like, that's so bad. Because what if they didn't have adept weapons? What if that was coming next season? Like, would this be one of the lowest trials of all time? Would it be the lowest trial of all time? The adept weapons should be a major drawing point. And again, this is not like they're giving away the fusion rifle that not many people use. The sniper is actually a relatively desirable piece of loot. Like, this is bad, guys. Like, I've always said people are willing to let the game die so they can get a couple extra kills in the crucible with stasis. It's like
Yeah.
the health of the game is really at jeopardy unless Bungie does something.
And frankly, and I have to say, this isn't me targeting anyone in particular, but it does bother. I think that some influencers need to come to terms with their own agendas and their own biases, because there are people with a lot of influence who will push for changes, or in some circumstances a lack of changes, because it is in the moment helpful for them. So some people are out there doing lots of recoveries and things like that in a stasis ridden environment, saying, I think this is totally fine. Why? Because people are really frustrated with the game mode, so they can they're more willing to pay someone else to go get that trials loot for them. And I've seen influencers saying, this is totally fine. This is good for the game. Why? Because their pocketbook is growing when Destiny is dying, and they can monetize that reality. And I wish more content creators would elevate the health of the game and the health of the community over their own personal interest. And it is a real shame, because some people will regurgitate what those people say, and they
Right.
will just latch onto that belief because that's their favorite person to watch. I hate that.
And I mean, it's not like we're always right. It's not like we're always right, but at the same time,
I usually
it's
am,
not.
though.
It's not. It's not me. It's not TV saying, yeah, it's broken. It's the mass majority of people. Like, if you did a poll of is stasis balanced, or like what is the most imbalanced thing, I can imagine it's scaling into the 70s and 80% range. It's not like a 50-50. I can imagine it is a very mass majority. It is an overwhelming majority in a lot of these cases. But I think we've kind of
Yeah.
harped on that long enough. This is going to be a long episode. There's a couple more little quick questions. We have a donation from Steven saying, if you could play a game for 8 hours a day for 7 days, just one, what would it be and why?
I already do.
I already
do
do
it.
it.
Destiny 2, basically. Yeah, like frick.
I mean, probably like an MMO that I could like actually have content to do, because I find I get burnt out. I don't want to be in that position ever again. I'm doing it right now with Genshin. Like, there's not much to do, and I'm already getting bored. I'm hoping for that next game. I'm kind of waiting for that next game.
For me,
Yeah,
it's
like-
really deep RPGs. Like Oblivion was the last game that I replay. I had probably a dozen different characters on that game, because it was the last game that I played that you could not max out everything on. No matter how hard you tried, no matter what you did, you couldn't max out everything. If you committed to a playstyle, you committed to a playstyle. And that was just sort of built into the game. So if I wanted to play a completely different way, I had to generate a new character and start out leveling up the specific perks and trees. And I really liked that, and that made me replay that game a ton. So a game like Oblivion would really be my choice, because I absolutely love those deep role-playing ideas. I am a massive nerd, admittedly. So I would actually
yeah, we
like
didn't know that. Good. I'm
would
glad you said that.
I would generate my own backstory for my characters in Oblivion. I even did this in Skyrim. Like, what's their motivation? What's their background? Why do they do the things that they do? Why are they going to use even down to, like, not just he's going to use bows. No, he's going to use only elven bows, because he is.
Did your wife know about this stuff before she agreed to marry you?
Absolutely.
Yikes.
Okay. Yeah.
My wife's a huge, she loves sci-fi and stuff like that too. We're a great fit. So
Well, why don't you
anyways,
marry her?
a game like that?
Why do you marry your
I'd do
wife?
it 3 times. I'd do it again.
I think if I could
Married.
go back in time, it would be RuneScape. Like, if I could have, like, only if RuneScape launched and my career started, like, and I could just grind RuneScape back in the day, like when I was a kid, bro, I loved that game. But
I think it's got to be like a game like that. Like, honestly, for me, if I really had to pick one game, it'd probably be something like World of Warcraft.
it would
where it's
have
like
to be, right? They could,
infinite amounts of content. They keep adding more content because there's a problem with like Skyrim and Oblivion are great, but eventually, like I'm saying in this guy's question, I assume it's like forever type of thing. Eventually, you're done the content. Whereas like an MMO like keeps evolving, like, and they keep adding stuff.
yeah.
So I think that it's got to be something similar to. It's got to be an RPG. Like, God forbid you're playing like Fortnite 8 hours a day, 7 days a
We
week.
like Fortnite. We like Fortnite. We like Fortnite.
People were, dude. People were on that grind though, but
Uh-huh.
they got burnt out real fast.
Just
Thing is,
wanted
I'm
to
a bit of an
say.
antisocial. I'm sorry.
Oh no, let's go.
Am I okay?
Cool.
I'm a bit of an antisocial gamer. I know it's a really weird thing to say as somebody who plays Destiny and streams that, I like
Yeah.
playing
You
by
picked the wrong
myself.
profession, dude.
I have always been, and this is the thing, I get this all the time. People are like, hey, do you got room for another one? Hey, can I join you? Hey, you gonna open it up today to people in your community? I have to force myself to do that because I am naturally a by myself gamer. That is just how I've always been. And I love just sitting in the dark with nobody here, with a cold drink in my hand, and just completely zoning in. That I love that. So for me, an MMO is, they're fun, and I love being engaged in Destiny. But my favorite way to play Destiny is by myself, solo queuing Crucible.
I'm like the most jaded, like antisocial. People are always like, well, why don't you play co-op? And I'm like, because I have no faith in anyone else's ability to beat this. Like, I have no faith in their ability to do any damage. And people are like, well, why don't you play co-op in Genshin? Well, when you play co-op, you have one character. Like, I would bring my D-Luker Venti, and I'm like, I'd be pressing one button for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
No, that is not fun. At least now I can switch the characters and like do some combos. But like,
Mhm.
no,
That's right.
I'm not playing with other people. You couldn't pay
And
me.
that's why I have never to this day done a flawless raid in Destiny 1 or Destiny 2, but I have done solo flawless dungeons. I've done several of them because
Yeah.
I don't like having to bank on somebody else's performance. I'd rather go to a
Yeah,
dungeon.
you guys are
I'd
weird.
rather
You guys are weird.
I'd rather go to
You-
the 3-person activity by myself and
Your
make
boy
it happen.
Kackis is here for you. I'm here for the community. I'll play with you guys. These guys will shun you out. I'll play with you.
How
I've
many
done my-
solo flawless dungeons
listen,
do you have,
I've
Kackis?
done-
Tell
hey,
me.
how many? I've done more flawless
Tell
raids
me.
than you have solo dungeons.
Listen,
tough guy.
listen.
Never
You know what's sad?
soloed a dungeon. He
You know
has
what's
to
actually-
ride on the coattails of his
You know what's
fire
actually
team.
sad? I haven't I haven't flawless Deepstone Crypt because I literally can't. I've tried a couple times, and the times I've tried, I've ruined my flawless because I got anteatered. Like it's,
Yeah.
I hate to
I
say
hear
it, but
ya.
like it's still a really buggy mess. I get anteatered like once a raid. It's really bad, and that's some of the things that I'm sure that stasis is obviously the most glaring problem, but I'm sure that contributed to like people kind of the player population going down. It's gotten a lot buggier, and again it comes from they try to do a lot behind the scenes, and the Cyberpunk examples like it takes them a year to get out the next gen version. Bungie did it. Like they've clearly took a hit, I think, in the
Mhm.
quality department because they're just trying to do all this stuff this year.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fair. White Lotus with a new membership. X Ball with a new membership. We got another $5 from Bilgewater. Just wanted to say I really enjoyed the podcast. I'm glad I caught it live. Also, TV and Kackis's links in the description are giving errors. Okay, we need to fix that.
That's been like that since episode 1. We've just never done anything about
Oh,
it.
okay. Well, yeah.
That's been a comment in every episode.
Oh,
since
no, really?
episode 1.
Oh,
shit.
shit.
These links aren't
404
working.
error not found.
Okay. Oh, it's doing that ... thing. So I don't know if it's because it got copied and pasted or it's shortening the link for some reason.
Literally, you just need to go www.youtube.com/KackisHD. You don't
Well,
need the channel.
Fix it then,
Wait,
bro.
how? Wait.
Fix it.
So Mtashed did the description, and his link works fine, and my link and True Vanguard's link don't work.
I've been wondering why
Whoa.
my channel's not blowing up
I
yet.
don't think that's right. Anyways, thank you so much for
Well,
watching the
okay.
podcast. This
Oh
is the
my
Real
gosh.
Gamer Hour podcast, the RGH podcast. We do it every Wednesday night, as long as crazy things in the world aren't happening. 9 p.m. Eastern time every Wednesday. Make sure to follow the channel, like this video, hit the bell notification, and thank you so much for supporting us. We love you so much. And I'm Mtashed.
I'm KackisHD.